I'm going to do a little intro here. We're going to be following this general format for the smoothie this morning. And this is really just going to be, it says green smoothie drink, and that's really an understatement of what it is, because this drink is loaded with a lot of really nutrient-dense superfoods. It's really a good one to use if you have a busy day and you might not be able to get some of the really good things in your day that you want to have for your diet. It's also loaded with protein and some healthy fats, a lot of really good things that, in this case, we're using it to really amp up nutrition in my dad's diet right now. He's in the middle of his radiation treatments. This is loaded with things that really help your immune system and really ramp up the natural killer cells that are in your immune system. So I'm just going to go through it as he makes it, one ingredient at a time, and we'll just kind of show you. If you want to do a screenshot, you'll get the general gist of what's in it. And I'm going to make a couple of other suggestions that you can put in it too, for substitutions if you don't have these things, or maybe you can't eat certain things that are in it. Right now, he's just chopping the greens. We're going to use a Vitamix because we want it really smooth at the end of everything. And so that's what he's going to do, be putting the greens in the Vitamix. We are making a double portion because it's going to be for 2 people. It's even possible if you needed it for 2 meals for the day, you could do the 2-person version and just drink part of it in the morning and part in the evening. He's using a mixture of greens. When we first started this, they were using mostly spinach, but I really like the mixture. I think it's a nice variety. It has different cruciferous vegetables in it, like kale. Might even have some arugula. But then it's got a little bit of dark colored lettuce. Those greens that come in the spring greens package or any of that at your grocery store are perfect for using in this. You can chop them or you can just leave them whole and put it in it. A lot of times I just stuff it down in my blender till it looks like about 3 cups or however much I'm going to use that day. Great way to get those greens in. He just put a little bit of lemon juice in it. Lemon juice will help you absorb nutrients that are in these foods, especially the greens. He just bought some lemons and he had already juiced them. And so just to have that handy to put a little bit of lemon juice in this to help you absorb those nutrients is really nice. I really don't buy lemon juice that's already prepared in the grocery store because it has citric acid in it, and I just really like fresh lemon juice for something like this. He just put some cabbage in there, so he's going to get his cruciferous vegetables very easily. Cruciferous vegetables are for detoxification in our body. This is just a mixture of cabbage, green cabbage, purple cabbage, a little bit of carrot. Comes in, the plastic bag at your refrigerator station at your grocery store. Cabbage is really good for detoxification, but I'm also going to have him use some broccoli sprouts. Broccoli sprouts are 100 times more powerful as a detoxification food than even broccoli. And so to put that 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup of broccoli sprouts in there is going to be really helpful for just amping the nutrient value of this smoothie up a little. And broccoli sprouts, it's great if you can put them in your food every day, but it's really hard to do that. And that's true of many of the things that go into this smoothie. You can try to put them in your regular food every day, and some days you'll get them and some days you won't. And that's why if you go ahead and make a green smoothie like this, you will be getting all of those things in very easily. You won't even have to think about it. The garlic was another one. Garlic and onion, they're from the allium family. They're great for detoxification in your body, for natural killer cells if you're dealing with any kind of a cancer, dealing with infections of any sort, whether it's a fungal infection or a bacterial infection. And also garlic is very good for if you are dealing with heart disease. It's really good for the blood vessels. So it has lots of benefits. He just put 2 to 3 cloves of garlic in there and it'll get mixed up. It has a nice flavor actually. It's not generally too sharp. And now he's putting some avocado. Now he's using the avocado that comes in the little containers because sometimes we don't get fresh avocado that's ripe when we need it. Certainly we don't always get it here every day, especially in the winter. So it's nice to have another alternative for avocado. I think you can even buy it frozen. I've never bought it that way, but I usually buy it in the small containers to put in my smoothies. I think he had the guacamole that he used here, but you know, you can get the plain avocado too. Either one is going to be fine. It's going to be the same nutrients. He's going to be using soy milk for the liquid. I know it says 1, but we're going to use at least 2 cups. That means they'll each get at least a cup of soy milk, organic soy milk, in their day. I generally recommend 2 per day for most people. And so you're going to get soy in tofu. You're going to get soy if you use it for your breakfast cereal. Lots of different ways to get that 2 servings in a day. And it's just another one of those foods that helps detoxify certain things in the body, particularly things that are hormone related. I really like to make sure that when we're trying to balance hormones or we just have something that's hormone related because of an imbalance, that we're getting those phytoestrogens in our food. Now, generally, the best and easiest way is going to be through soy, but all plants have phytoestrogens, and all plants will help balance hormones in the body, particularly estrogen-related hormones. So here he is. He's opening the organic broccoli sprouts right now. It's sometimes difficult to find these organic broccoli sprouts. We got these from Whole Foods, but not every grocery store has them. We usually get a package of them. You're going to be trying to use a 1/4 cup a day for 1 serving, but because they're doing 2 servings here, they're going to use a 1/2 cup. Just use a couple of those. So a couple servings of that. Again, highly, highly detoxifying for your body. It's a great one to use. But hard to get and not always something you can fit into your day easily. It's not always easy to find a way to use them. But the smoothie is a really good option. I'm having them put olive oil in their smoothie for added calories because they're having difficulty getting enough calories in each day. And oils are very calorie dense. Anything that has fat or oil in it is very calorie dense. And a small amount like that adds up to quite a few extra calories. So that will add that healthy burst of some good olive oil. It can be very anti-inflammatory. You know, just look for a good quality, cold press, expeller pressed olive oil. So heat, when oils are processed with heat, it tends to deteriorate the quality of the oil and make it quite a bit more difficult, not just for your body to metabolize it, but to detoxify it. It puts an extra burden on your body to detoxify oils or fats that have been heated. So this next one he's going to add is creatine. Creatine is interesting. There's some really good research on it. It's good for improving brain health. It's also good for improving muscle. And so they've been using creatine monohydrate. You just have to be careful of your source for it. Some sources are not going to be as high a quality. We're just using one from the company called Now Sports. We're using both pea protein and from Now Sports, creatine monohydrate. Just a little bit of that in there each day. This is a super green that I found from Navitas. A super green powder made by Navitas. It contains kale, which of course is a superfood in itself. It contains wheatgrass, same thing, but it also contains moringa, M-O-R-I-N-G-A, moringa. Moringa is one that has some interesting studies. It has been shown to help fight cancers, and I think probably what it's doing is it's increasing the natural killer cells, most likely. I traveled to the Turks and Caicos a few years ago, and I met a young man who was helping us find our way around. And here, I'll show you this one from Navitas so you can see. Okay. Navitas Organics, and it's just called a superfood greens blend. So I'm having them use that with moringa, kale, and wheatgrass. Anyway, this young man in the Turks and Caicos, he was talking about this tree that was by our car when we were parked, and he started to tell me about his grandmother who had been diagnosed with a cancer, and they wanted her to have chemotherapy, and she could not. She just was not in a financial position to be able to do that, and she was using moringa, and it wasn't long after that she didn't have a detectable cancer. I thought that was interesting because I had not asked the gentleman about this. He did not even know I was a doctor. I had been familiar with moringa, but I never really talked to somebody who that was what they used, because that's the only thing that they had available to them. So it was kind of an interesting sidelight on that. This is, I'm having them use what's called 5 Defenders. Real Mushrooms is the brand, and it's an organic powder of 5 different mushrooms. Mushrooms, again, are a superfood. This one has, let's set it down, I don't know if you can see it. It has reishi, maitake, shiitake, chaga, and turkey tail. That's what it's got. There we go. And it doesn't take very much. Ooh, we're ready to blend. Go ahead, Dad. All right, so he's done the first blending of it. And he's getting any of the powdered stuff that sticks to the side. It tends to stick to the side, so he's just gonna swipe it down with the spatula. And swipe it down with the spatula a little. And then he's gonna add the protein. Now there's a couple things I wanna say about the protein. I showed you that the brand that he's got is the Now Sports pea protein. And it's not too bad for pricing, but there are ways to get protein, a protein powder in your smoothie without necessarily buying something that has a lot of other additives or flavors or colors or anything like that. You can just get a plain Whole Foods type of protein. So this one is simply peas. Another way you can do it is to put other foods in this smoothie that are just high in protein. And I made a list the other day because I wanted to know which foods were the highest that we could substitute for this pea protein powder. So he's putting the powder in there, and we've had a little bit of trouble getting it to mix easily without everything sticking to the side. But I think, you know, just sometimes what I found is if I just stir it in first and then blend it, it doesn't throw it all to the side. It doesn't stick quite as much. So, you know, if he just kind of stirs that down in there, he may have less of it sticking off to the side. Yeah, but see how it gets really clumped in there and doesn't mix super easily. So it takes a little bit of stirring to get it so it blends. The things that I found that you could substitute as protein here would be things like chia seeds. I'm gonna get my list. I wrote these down actually. I'll give you a little overview of it. So this was just comparing apples to apples. So they compared the amount of protein in 100 grams, which is almost a quarter cup. It's about a quarter cup of all these different foods. And the ones that were the highest, the The one that was the highest was hemp seeds. Now we generally don't use a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds, but you know, even in 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds, you're going to get an amount of protein equal to if you had a 1/2 cup of lentils or chickpeas, or you know, a 1/4 cup of chia seeds. Now, so hemp was the highest, peanuts were the next highest, but some people can't eat nuts. Pumpkin seeds were the next highest. And then we come to the soy, like tempeh and soy. All of the soys are going to be pretty high. And remember, we did put soy milk for the base here, so we're going to get protein from that also. You could use cashews, you could use any kinds of nuts actually, and any kind of nut butter. So, okay, Dad, go ahead and blend. Looks good. Looks really good. Nice and smooth. When you drink this, this will make you very thirsty. So it tends to be something you either, well, usually you drink a lot of water afterwards if you don't drink it with the smoothie. And I find that with green smoothies in general, I get very thirsty later in the day, and I think you just have to drink extra. Now my mom drinks this. She drinks her portion, and she adds some seasoning to it to flavor it a little bit. You can add, like if you want something spicy with it. My dad's not doing anything spicy right now, but you can add, you know, any kind of spice that you like, whether you like Tabasco or you want cayenne in there, anything like that. A little bit of salsa. You could put peppers into the smoothie if you wanted. Any kind of jalapeno or something like that. I know Dr. Greger at nutritionfacts.org, his smoothie does have quite a bit of spice in terms of jalapeno that he puts in it. And then I think my mom uses something like everything dill or everything spice seasoning that has the garlic and salt and things like that. That's what she puts in hers. She has trouble tasting things, so she needs a fair amount of that to give the flavor that helps her drink this. So it is not a bad taste, but you really do have to make some adjustments to it. Now, if I was making this at home, I would probably also add a little bit of this savory spice blend, because there's so many antioxidants in this blend. This is the one you make from the website of nutritionfacts.org. They have this one, and then they also have one that's a little bit more spicy. I think it has a little cayenne in it. And even for a serving a day, even if you just used a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon of this in the smoothie, you would really amp up the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefit of this smoothie. And it's so little to add to it, and it adds flavor to it. So you consider that. So there we have it. If you think this would benefit somebody you know, go ahead and share it. If you don't know somebody you could share it with, then like it, and YouTube will find somebody to share it with. If you haven't already, subscribe, and otherwise we'll see you in the next video. Thank you, Dad.
Okay, you're welcome.